A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, VIP beacons have got a red flag from the government. They've been banned from 1st of May. Even vehicles of Prime Minister and President are not exempt. That is our top focus this morning. Let us start the bulletin with the headlines. Use of red-blue beacons by VIPs, including President, Prime Minister, banned from 1st of May. Only emergency vehicles to use blue beacons. Government approves 3,000 crore rupees to buy paper trail machines. Election Commission says VVPATs to be used with every EVMs in 2019 polls. After revolt in AIADMK, Sasikala's aide Dinakaran steps aside, paves the way for merger of OPS and EPS factions. After US moves to make changes to H-1B visa program, India says it is in touch with the United States, making assessment of the impact. MEA also in talks with Australia on changes in the country's work visa program. And UK Parliament votes in favour of Prime Minister Theresa May's call for early general election. Britain set to vote on 8th of June. Our top story this morning come 1st of May and vehicles with red beacons will be a thing of the past. Now, the government has barred their use by the VVIPs, including the President, the Prime Minister and Chief Ministers. Seeking to end the VIP culture, the Union Cabinet decided that beacon lights will be removed from all vehicles. However, emergency vehicles like ambulances and fire brigade will be allowed to use blue light. Amendments will now soon be made in the Central Motor Vehicles rules to give effect to the decision, a rule that empowers the centre or a state government to allow use of red beacon lights to dignitaries will altogether be removed from statute books.
और वीआईपी कल्चर हमारे लोकतंत्र के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। हमारा लोकतंत्र में लोकतंत्र के प्रति जनता का सम्मान बढ़े और माँ बाप सरकार जनता है और इसलिए ये जो लाल दिया की गाड़ी उसके अंदर में सायरन बजाना ये बातों से लोगों के मन में भी क्रोध होता था और इसलिए आज हमने ये निर्णय किया है कैबिनेट में कि केवल इमरजेंसी सर्विसेज जैसे फायर ब्रिगेड है, एम्बुलेंस है, इसको छोड़कर इस देश में पूरी तरह से लाल दिया खत्म हो जाएगा। अब कोई दिया लगेगा नहीं और इसके बारे में नोटिफिकेशन 1 मई के पहले हम निकाल देंगे।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose government on Wednesday took the decision that VIP vehicles should do away with red beacons, said that every Indian was a VIP. Prime Minister Modi said that these symbols were out of touch with the spirit of New India. Replying to a tweet hailing the government's decision, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "Every Indian is special. Every Indian is a VIP." In another post, he maintained that it should have gone long ago, glad that today a strong beginning has been made. Meanwhile, the Union Cabinet also cleared an Election Commission proposal to procure paper trail machines or VVPATs for the use during future elections. The Cabinet also approved encashment of accumulated leave to families of defence personnel dead or invalidated.
Amidst growing demands from opposition parties for holding all future elections using paper trail machines along with EVMs, the Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on Wednesday approved the proposal of procurement of over 16 lakh VVPAT units.
चुनाव आयोग का अपना आकलन है कि 16,15,000 मशीन्स और चाहिए और ये मशीन भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कॉरपोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया मैन्युफैक्चर करती है। दोनों पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग्स हैं और ये सारा प्रोक्योरमेंट अगर अप्रैल 2017 में ऑर्डर दिया जाए तो सितंबर 2018 तक जो उनसे नेगोशिएशन हुआ है ये पूरी सप्लाई आ सकती है।
The Cabinet also approved encashment of accumulated leaves to families of defence personnel dead or invalidated. State government entities were also given permission for availing external assistance from bilateral agencies for vital infrastructure projects. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And on to the latest spate of developments in Tamil Nadu politics. The Delhi Police Crime Branch reached Chennai late on Wednesday night to serve a notice to AIADMK's Deputy General Secretary TTV Dinakaran for joining the probe involving bribing of an election official to get the party's two leaves symbol for his faction. Meanwhile, the top leadership of Sasikala's AIADMK camp has decided to distance itself from Sasikala and Dinakaran. Now, this has paved the way for the merger of the two factions of the party. Former Chief Minister O. Selvam claimed that it was a victory for what he called his Dharam Yudh against Sasikala.
Former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Selvam claimed first victory in what he claims a Dharam Yudh against Shashikala. He also welcomed the AIADMK minister's decision to distance themselves from Shashikala and family. Selvam said he launched the Dharam Yudh with the help of his supporters to ensure that the AIADMK did not go into the hands of Shashikala's family. The decision paves way for the merger of the two factions of the AIADMK, with Selvam agreeing to talks.
Not removed, you cannot say that removed. We decided to ignore them in the party, in the administration. Hereafter, we will act independently without interference of that family. Hereafter, the party or government will function not on individual. We will form a committee. That committee will look after the day-to-day affair of the party and government.
They are out once for all. Once out is out. They cannot be in again and again anymore because so many cases are behind them, pending for them.
The General Secretary of the AIADMK Amma faction, TTV Dinakaran, also struck a conciliatory note, saying he had no issues with the merger. He said the rebellion against him was due to some unfounded fears. He also made it clear that the MLA's meet called by him was not a show of strength.
They have some fear, that's all. I don't know the fear because they were all my friends. You have seen them here till 14th. Suddenly they changed their mind within 2-3 days. Means something there is there with them.
Senior party leader M. Tambedurai said the decision is in line with the party sentiments.
It is a sudden development. It is going on for past 2 months. Even when Selvam was Chief Minister, then afterwards he resigned, and then he felt the feelings of the ADMK cadre and the public. Therefore, he said the family of T2 must not interfere in the party efforts and the government functioning. What he said.
The Shashikala faction, meanwhile, called the move to remove Shashikala and Dinakaran opportunist.
Other ministers say that Chief Minister also is included in their meeting. But that after Chief Minister opens his mouth only we can say that. But whatever statement they have given, they are not the authority to remove General Secretary or Joint Secretary of the party.
On Tuesday night, a section of Shashikala loyalists led by Palaniswamy made the dramatic announcement to keep away General Secretary and Deputy General Secretary TTV Dinakaran from the party and the affairs of government, saying that the people and party workers were against him. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. Overturning a lower court's judgment, the Supreme Court revived criminal charges against L.K. Advani, Uma Bharti and Murli Manohar Joshi in the Babri Masjid demolition case filed by the CBI. Aiming for a speedy judgment, the apex court clubbed the two cases as one to be tried in a Lucknow court. It also gave a time of 2 years to the court to deliver a verdict in the case.
In a setback to the BJP, the Supreme Court on Wednesday allowed the CBI petition to restore criminal charges against veteran BJP leaders L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi and Water Resources Minister Uma Bharti in the 1992 Babri Masjid demolition case. In a series of orders, a bench comprising Justice P.C. Ghosh and R.F. Nariman set a deadline of 2 years for the completion of the trial with day-to-day hearings. It ordered combining the Raebareli and Lucknow trials and transferred them to Lucknow. Further, the bench ruled that the trial judge of Lucknow will not be transferred till the judgment is delivered. Making it clear that there won't be any fresh trial in the case, the apex court directed the Lucknow trial court to begin proceedings in 4 weeks. It also asked the CBI to ensure the presence of prosecution witnesses on every date of the trial. The apex court, however, noted that former Chief Minister Kalyan Singh can only be tried in the case after he ceases to hold office of the Governor of Rajasthan.
Today Supreme Court has directed FIR number 198, which was pending before the Raebareli court, should be transferred to the Lucknow court, and day-to-day trial proceedings should go on. An additional charge against the Advani, Mulli Manohar Joshi, etc. of 120B should be framed within 4 weeks, and trial should be concluded within 2 years.
The main question was that the trial were at two places and the trial was proceeding very slow. The relevance of this judgment is that both the trials will be clubbed together, and the court has fixed a deadline in which the trial could be concluded.
While the Congress welcomed the Supreme Court order, Uma Bharti said she was ready to face any punishment in her fight for the construction of Ram Temple.
We believe justice should be done, would be done. Now it is for the trial to take place and guilty to be punished. We sincerely hope that without any fear and favor, verdict of the Supreme Court would be implemented in toto.
कोई साजिश नहीं थी, सब कुछ खुल्लम खुल्ला था। मेरे मन वचन कर्म एक थे, कोई कंस्पिरेसी नहीं थी। मैं पूरे आत्मविश्वास के साथ, पूरे आत्मसम्मान के साथ मैंने राम मंदिर के आंदोलन में भागीदारी करी है। मुझे राम मंदिर के आंदोलन में भागीदारी के लिए हमेशा गर्व रहा है। मेरे लिए राम मंदिर का निर्माण, भव्य मंदिर का निर्माण हो, उसके लिए मुझे जो करना पड़ेगा वो मैं अवश्य करूंगी।
The CBI had charge-sheeted Advani and others under sections 153A, 153B and 505 of the Indian Penal Code. With Wednesday's order, the court revived charges against top BJP leaders 16 years after a Lucknow lower court dropped them on technical grounds. The CBI appealed to the Allahabad High Court, which in May 2010 upheld the lower court's order. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And leaders cutting across party lines have given a varying response to the Supreme Court's verdict on the Babri Masjid, the demolition matter. Let's take a listen.
These people who are holding public positions like ministers, they should be, if they have any moral authority left, I think they should not continue to hold their public positions.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कई मौकों पर देश में डेमोक्रेसी बहाल रहे, रिश्ते अच्छे रहें और देश टूटने की तरफ आगे न बढ़े, कई बार कोशिशें की, और ये कोशिश इतनी बड़ी है जिससे एक बहुत बड़ा विवाद हल भी हो सकता है और कानून उसमें मदद कर सकता है।
मंत्री महोदया उमा भारती जी भी इसमें षड्यंत्रकारी हैं। मोदी जी की जिम्मेदारी बनती है तत्काल रूप से उन्हें मंत्रिमंडल से निकालने का काम करें।
कल्याण सिंह को ये गवर्नमेंट हटाए गवर्नरशिप से, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोस्ट के पीछे क्यों छुपेंगे और इनको ट्रायल फेस कराए।
इतना खतरनाक पार्टी है ये आरएसएस और ये बीजेपी, विश्व हिंदू परिषद, कि अपने परायों का भी ये ख्याल नहीं करता है और बढ़िया से नार काट दिया अडवाणी जी का। अब तो राष्ट्रपति की चर्चा भी नहीं कोई करेगा उनका।
नहीं तो कल्याण सिंह कोई उकसाने वाली बात कहे ही नहीं थे, अपने कर्तव्य का पालन नहीं किया था। कल्याण सिंह वो भी एक अच्छा निर्णय हुआ।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर हमें तमाम मुसलमानों को एतमाद है, यकीन है कि बाबरी मस्जिद के जो मुजरिम लोग हैं उनको कहीं न कहीं कफीर किरदार तक कोर्ट पहुंचाएगा।
On to some other news. Top officers of Punjab and Haryana will meet in New Delhi today to discuss the contentious Sutlej-Yamuna link canal issue. During the meet, Punjab government is determined to stick to its stand that the state has no water to spare for its neighbour Haryana. The meeting will be chaired by the Secretary, Minister of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Amarjeet Singh. Discussion will be on various ways to implement the decree which was passed by the Supreme Court in 2002 regarding the construction of the SYL canal. Punjab, however, plans to put up a watertight case to counter Haryana's claims over Ravi Bias waters, citing shortage to meet the needs of its own farmers. Simultaneously, Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh is likely to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi today to seek his intervention in the matter. On the 2nd of March, in a stern message to Punjab, the top court had said that its verdict allowing the construction of the SYL canal in Haryana and Punjab has to be implemented. Well, the next hearing in the Supreme Court on the issue is on 27th of April. And in yet another incident of ceasefire violation, the Pakistani troops on Wednesday for the 7th time this month resorted to mortar shelling and firing on Indian posts along the line of control in Poonch district. The Indian troops deployed on forward posts retaliated to the firing. On Monday, Pakistani troops violated the ceasefire in Naushera sector along the line of control in Rajouri district. Meanwhile, the Congress party on Wednesday formulated a policy planning group to take forward the peace initiative in the state. The group is likely to study and assess the ground situation and make initiatives for restoring normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's get you the weather update. At least 37 persons have died due to extreme heat and effects of heat wave-like conditions in the state of Telangana. Now, looking at the severe weather condition, Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao has directed the Education Department to ensure that summer holidays have been declared for the government as well as private schools from Wednesday onwards, 5 days in advance. Hyderabad and other several parts of the state are also reeling under heat wave with the mercury soaring above 40 degrees Celsius. The highest temperature recorded in the state on Tuesday was 44.5 degrees Celsius. And the maximum temperature is likely to be above normal by 2 to 4 degrees at many places. And the most heat intense wave is being felt across North India, stretching from West Bengal to Odisha to Rajasthan, the national capital region in Punjab. The national capital witnessed a soaring temperature at 43 degrees Celsius yesterday. Maharashtra is also reeling with temperatures settling way above 40 degrees Celsius. Now, they are also likely to touch 46 degree mark in some parts of Vidarbha regions. Heat wave alert has been sounded in parts of Maharashtra and Vidarbha region. The Met Department says no relief is expected at least till the monsoon arrives.
मध्य महाराष्ट्र और मराठवाड़ा के इलाके में, जैसे इंटीरियर महाराष्ट्र जिसे हम कहते हैं, और विदर्भ के भी कुछ इलाकों में काफ़ी तापमान बढ़ गया है। जैसे शोलापुर, मालेगांव वगैरह के कुछ इलाकों में तापमान 43 या 44 तक भी पहुंच गया है। तो हमने आने वाले 2 दिनों के लिए मध्य महाराष्ट्र में हीटवेव होने की संभावना दी है।
More news from across the country. Let's go nationwide. Home Minister Rajnath Singh will today inaugurate a 2-day function to mark a Civil Services Day in New Delhi. The inaugural session will be followed by a plenary session and creating a value through human capital management in government. On Friday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will confer Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration to districts and other central and state organizations for effective implementation of programs and innovation. At least 45 people were killed when a private bus plunged into River Tons in a remote Nerva area of Shimla district on Wednesday. Rescue teams from Uttarakhand and a team of NDRF were rushed to the spot. Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh expressed shock and grief over the accident and has conveyed his sympathies to the bereaved families. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed anguish over the loss of lives. He has announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees for the next of kin of those killed and 50,000 rupees for those seriously injured. At least 6 people were killed and many more injured after a massive fire broke out in the electronics factory in Noida Sector 11 on Wednesday. 10 fire tenders reached the spot to douse off the flames and to get the situation under control. The cause of the blaze is yet to be ascertained and investigation is underway. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the international and sports news.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. And when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song, Amar Shonar Bangla, as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Welcome back. In a move to reaffirm its sovereignty over Arunachal Pradesh, China gave its own names to 6 places in the Indian state that it calls as South Tibet. While calling the provocative move is legitimate, China announced last week that it named the places in Chinese characters, Tibetan and Roman alphabets. China also claimed that it will do a second census of names and localities, and an important part of it is to standardize names in their ethnic language. The announcement comes days after China lodged strong protests with India over the Dalai Lama's visit to Arunachal Pradesh, saying that it will take necessary measures to defend its territorial integrity, sovereignty and interests.
We know very well that this is part of India, Arunachal is a part of India, but we must now stand firm on it. And to stand firm, by that we mean is that we must now be prepared militarily to face China. There are no two ways about it.
Shifting focus to our other neighbor Pakistan, and the country's Supreme Court will today announce the verdict of a Panama Papers case involving Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his family. Well, the judgment will be announced by a 5-member large bench headed by Justice Asif Saeed Khosa. The judgment will be on a slew of petitions seeking disqualification of Nawaz Sharif in connection with the alleged illegal money laundering by him in 1990s to purchase assets in London. The assets surfaced when Panama Papers showed that they were managed through offshore companies owned by Sharif's children. The Supreme Court bench had reserved its verdict on 23rd of February and said that it will review all the angles in the case and then announced a verdict. Imran Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, is the main petitioner in the case. Meanwhile, the ruling party, PMLN, is weighing the option of an early election in case of an adverse verdict by the Supreme Court. And after Australia, the United States is all set to reframe its visa rules for immigrants. Now, India has insisted that the rules will be detrimental for its citizens. It will raise the issue with the US authorities when Prime Minister Narendra Modi will meet Donald Trump probably in June this year.
American President Donald Trump signed the executive order to reframe the US H-1B visa. The reforms will seek to ensure that random entry-level people from outside America did not get a chance to go there for work. US President Donald Trump said the reforms will ensure entry on merit of the visitors rather than on application.
Right now, H-1B visas are awarded in a totally random lottery, and that's wrong. Instead, they should be given to the most skilled and highest paid applicants, and they should never ever be used to replace Americans.
The United States had a provision of granting H-1B visa through lottery among the eligible applicants if the number of applicants surpassed 65,000 in the first 5 days of the year. Although this was also based on merit, many Indians are now confused and wish to engage the US president on his intentions. Till now, Indian applicants accounted for 70% H-1B visas.
We need to talk and we need to sort out the terms of engagement, because what America may in the short term believe is good for it may prove to be actually not in the interests of America, and the case of allowing experts from India to travel on HV1 visa and HV1B visas to America is a case in point. It's in American interest to allow for this. I think they need to talk.
However, an exemption from the H-1B cap is available for 20,000 applicants who have a US master's degree or higher. In case number is exceeded, there is again a provision of lottery. Trump wants to stop lottery provisions for all visa applicants. Since most Indians are in the US only on merit, new rule is hardly expected to affect them.
But still there is fear and confusion, and US embassies are also not quite sure how it will be implemented. Till that time, let's wait and see. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Arvind in Delhi.
Well, amid concerns over the US's changed H-1B visa program, now India says it is in touch with the Trump administration and is making full assessment of its impact on Indian professionals. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Gopal Bagle informed that the government was in touch with the Trump administration over the matter. The developments come after US President Donald Trump signed an executive order for tightening the rules of the H-1B visa program. The move is seen as a blow to the Indian IT industry and professionals. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson also said that it was in touch with the Australian government as well regarding the changes in that country's work visa program. He assured that the impact will be negligible on Indian workers. It is noteworthy that Australia also replaced its popular 457 work visa program with another program, with the Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull saying that his governments will adopt a new Australians first approach to skilled migration. And on to the other top international story. Britain is all set to go to polls on 8th of June. Now, this after an overwhelming majority of MPs backed Prime Minister Theresa May's call to hold a general election on that date. A total of 522 MPs voted in favour of the motion, a vote on Wednesday afternoon, with just 13 votes against the motion. The vote comes just a day after May caught the country off guard with her call for an election. She asserted that it was needed to secure political unity as the country prepares for detailed negotiations on exiting the European Union.
People will have a real choice at this election. They will have a choice between a Conservative government that has shown we can build a stronger economy and a Labour Party whose economic policy would bankrupt this country. And what voters know is that under Labour, it's ordinary working people who pay the price of the Labour Party. They pay it with their taxes, they pay it with their jobs, and they pay it with their children's futures.
We welcome the general election, but this is a Prime Minister who promised there wouldn't be one. A Prime Minister who cannot be trusted. She says it's about leadership, yet is refusing to defend her record in television debates. More households are in debt. 6 million people earning less than the living wage. Child poverty is up. Pensioner poverty is up. So why are so many people getting poorer?
And on to sports now. India's P. Kashyap and Harshil Dani advanced to the men's singles pre-quarterfinals in the China Masters Grand Prix Gold Badminton Tournament in Chongzhou in China. Back to playing competitive badminton after recovering from a shoulder injury, Kashyap took 46 minutes to defeat Thailand's contender 21-16, 21-17 and will now face the third-seeded Kuan Bin of China today. While Harshil Dani edged out China's Yan Yurunze 21-16, 22-20 to set up a clash against another Chinese player today. Well, that's all in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.